the Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.
So what was your question about our strawberries for only for the morning?
No. I was saying we're recording. This is all on the show. What's your question about strawberries? Let's get this. This is
strawberries in the morning?
Yeah, I only eat strawberries in the morning.
Not in the afternoon.
I think other people eat it in the afternoon.
I eat strawberries like you for breakfast.
No, I think lots of people. This is a question for the audience, I suppose. I think people eat strawberries all day. I think they're an all-day food.
Yeah.
I just tend to have them in the morning. It's a personal preference, not I think an international law.
Well, let's be frank. I'm Frank.
Hi, Frank. My name's Wayne.
Yeah, fruit is for mornings. That's just my personal opinion. I actually think that if you eat fruit in the afternoon or nighttime, you're kind of a monster.
A monster? But I thought, hold on a second. I only have oranges in the afternoon.
Well,
I will not have an orange.
You're also
early. Unless it's orange juice.
Boys, I am a monster.
You're a monster. Veronica's a monster.
What's so funny about this conversation is Veronica is not on the microphone. No. So it's going to be like a very quiet background noise. And she's not on the microphone because she can't join us in the show today.
Yeah, literally we were not able to have Veronica today. And I'm so sorry, audience, for you to know this, but Veronica has a mountain of work to do. We have a big event happening next week. And so she's got to work and get a bunch of stuff done. So we're dividing and conquering.
Yes.
But we just can't stop talking to her, and we're keeping her from working, which is so bad. So you can get to it, right? We're so sorry for distracting you from business.
We'll talk more about strawberries later. You might want to close your door.
No, she wants to hear the show.
Oh, okay.
I probably shouldn't.
All right. Well.
I promise you, because I want to chime in, and I can't chime in.
All right. Leave it cracked.
Just chime in. It'll be hilarious. Leave the door open. When you scream something in the background, we'll comment on it in the show. Please. Leave your door open.
It only enhances everything.
It's better. Yeah, it's better. Leave it open for sure. For sure.
All right, here comes some ASMR coffee pour into the mug. Ready? Here we go.
Coffee pour into the mug.
That actually sounds awesome. It sounds like those old school Folgers commercials where it has
the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
I love it. Well, guys, gang, people, fans, friends, Biofriendly Planet audience. We're back. And we're here without Ronnie while she's kind of on the side.
You may hear comments from the peanut gallery, as they say, as Veronica's working away and listening to the show. But you will not hear her on the microphone. Her microphone has been muted because she's not in front of it. She's working hard with the door open.
It's true.
Yeah. And whatever she chirps in, we'll do our best to try to
incorporate her, even if you can't hear her. But back to the breakfast conversation. Yeah. I was being hyperbolic. It's not really. I'm not that extreme about it. But I personally love fruit in the morning as a breakfast thing. Sure. It can be on a lunch plate. It feels morning to me. Fruit has always felt very morning. But I also don't eat pie.
Do you know what? For me, fruit is mid-morning.
Mid-morning?
Very specifically.
Okay.
Because first thing in the morning, if I have fruit, then it doesn't work for me. If I the first thing in the morning, I've got to have something that's a little heavier, maybe either it's something bready.
I know this about you because I've been to Germany with you.
That's right.
That's right. You ordered a very heavy breakfast early in the morning.
That's the craziest breakfast of anybody in the whole. That's a croissant.
I don't think we've ever told that on the podcast, and I think if there was ever a time, now's the time.
You think this is it?
I think we should tell the story about. I think so because we've maybe hinted at it, but we've never said the story.
Jacob and I love Germany. I just want that to be known.
100%. We loved every ounce of the 72 hours that we spent in Germany for our film.
We were at a film festival.
Yeah.
And we were running around the country at lightning pace, just doing these premieres and hanging out with celebrities. The Right Said Fred guys.
Right Said Fred. We spent a whole day with them.
Yeah, they wrote some songs for our movie.
Yeah.
They came out and hung out, and they were really great.
Yep.
The other filmmakers there, wonderful people. We met so many. It was just an
amazing time.
It was an awesome experience running around. While we were in
Cologne. We were in Cologne.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got up early to make it to the theater because we had to meet with some people, and we're outside. It's a beautiful day.
Yes. And there's this wonderful open kind of like courtyard-y sort of like in middle of town area in Cologne where we're walking through.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
And we see this awning of like a breakfast place.
Yes.
And we all agree, we're like, before we get going on this day, we need to stop and have some breakfast. We must do this.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna let you take the highlights once we get in there. We go in to this place, and it's like a nice, it's really cute little like local bakery type thing, breakfast spot, right?
Yes, for sure.
And we're just trying to figure out what to order, whether it's a coffee. Obviously, we're Americans, and
we're very American.
Yes, we
in case anyone's wondering.
We look it, we sound it.
Yeah.
And, one thing I was learning, because I hadn't done much international traveling, is like the regular cup of coffee that we're used to in the United States isn't a common thing to get. You usually have to ask for like Americanos and things like that to
Americanos exist because in Europe, they're like, how do we make coffee for these idiots?
Right.
So they pour it espresso, and then they put hot water with it. And
and you're like, that's the closest thing I can get to my Starbucks.
That's why they call it Americano.
Right. So
if you're wondering,
we're looking around to get breakfast. They've got fruit. They've got things you can order like eggs. We're looking, and they have these glass displays of like what they have available in the cafe, and it's covering everything from breakfast, lunch to dinner, basically. Yeah. Like these are items that you can order.
And Jacob goes first.
I go first.
And Jacob goes first.
I order just like an egg and a coffee, and that's about it.
Adam just gets a cup of coffee. Nothing else. He's just simple cup of coffee.
Basic stuff.
And so my American. Should we bleep that? Is that
I
wrong?
will. Yeah. It's all right.
Okay.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
My American bottom. I walk up.
My American Bottom is a lesser-known song from that Queen knockoff band, Pawn.
Pawn, that's right.
Yeah.
My American Bottom, girl. Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
It's a good tune.
Yeah.
So I come up and there's this beautiful German man here. This young, probably, I don't know, like early 20s.
Yeah, I would describe him as Augustus Gloop.
But I'm going to call him Fritz.
Fritz. Let's go for Fritz.
But yes,
blonde,
but strawberry highlight blonde, right?
Strawberry highlight blonde.
His skin is like pink.
Yes, flush.
And I don't know if that's from the fact that like he just is that all the time, or if he was just so excited.
I'm going to go with excitement.
Like it seemed like he was just riveted by the fact that these Americans were in here doing crazy things.
Yes.
Just in here talking to us, and they're saying crazy stuff.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm very, very happy to serve you today. The coffee and the food. It's going to be great. Really great to have you here, and I'm so excited. So, what can I get for you? And I, he's already got the other two orders, which I think probably were wild enough.
Yeah. He's excited that Americans.
It's just like this is going to be great.
Right.
Yeah, I'm so ready to be there. And then and so I was like, yeah, I'll take a mocha this morning. And he immediately is like, oh, okay, it's a mocha. Sounds great. It's okay, have the mocha. It's very good. What is there anything else you would like today? And I was like, well, those croissants are good. Can I get a croissant? Can I get warmed up? Yeah, that would be wonderful. This croissant would be really great for what's going on today. Is there anything else? And I'm looking at this, and as Jacob said, they've got the whole spread out for the day.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's for the whole day. I just think they've got their breakfast out. So I look over and there's a sausage, just a beautiful
German sausage.
German sausage sitting there thing. And I was like, I think I will have a sausage. And he goes, wait. You like the sausage? Yeah. Really? Yeah. It's like, you're crazy. And I was like, looking at like, what? And he's like, got this excitement in his eyes. Like, let's do it.
That is word for word what this guy said. He looked at Noel and he said, you're crazy. Let's do it. And because
he turns in and he's just like the sheer just joy
of putting this breakfast
and wonder
yes.
of the fact that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And so he's going now around and he gets the sausage and he's just looking at it with his bright eyes like, I can't believe this is happening. And he puts it down there and he gets the croissant and he's, hold on, I'm going to warm it up. And he goes and he gets it and he gets the croissant all warmed up and then he's got his mocha given to me, everything, and he gives it to me and he kind of waits and looks like, are you going to take it? You're going to grab this thing and eat it, or is it just going to sit here and we just look at it together? I don't know. I don't know what could happen. Anything could happen in this moment. And I took it and I sat down and ate it, and like he's looking over from the side, just kind of like looking over at what these Americans are like.
Giddy.
Are they actually going? Oh my God! He ate the sausage. He
ate
took a bite of the sausage with the croissant, and he also had the mocha at the same time.
So the next day, we're with our guide Sven, and we're trying to tell him the story because we're like what we took from this moment was we did something odd or unusual or exciting for this young German guy working in a kitchen to warrant him to say, You're crazy. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Sven said to us, he goes, oh, yes, well, because breakfast in Germany is not heavy foods. No. You go very light. You don't have lots of sausage. That'd be like dinner.
That would be a dinner meal. Yes. Or maybe a late lunch if you're crazy.
If you're crazy. And so he looks at us and he says, you were so American. Because you come in there and we know you to be like American. We eat what
cowboy.
We want to eat what we want whenever we want it.
Just do whatever we're going to do.
And he said, you walk up and you order the biggest sausage. And of course, the guy said, you're crazy.
You're crazy.
Let's do it. And that has been something we've said for years now, where we look at each other and we say, you're crazy, let's do it. And that's gone on forever.
I mean, we've used that for any time that there's some really kind of mundane activity that's going to happen during the day.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, hey, do you want to sit down and just catch up around the table over here?
You're crazy. Let's do it.
And think about this person, right? This character, this person who lives and is just so thrilled with life.
Yes.
Was such an exciting idea for us. Like, I think I'm going to wear a red shirt today. It's going to be crazy.
Crazy. So we love that story. And I just recently was on vacation with my family and I told them the story. And the entire week, they just kept going, do it again. You're crazy. Let's do it.
Did you tell them about Sven?
Oh, yeah. I told them Sven. Yeah. I mean, the expanded story about him having to leave. I don't know if I told them the whole thing about Sven, but that was another one. Should we keep going and then tell them about Sven?
We will, next week or the week after, we will tell you about Sven.
That was a great moment, too.
Sven was equally as amazing.
Maybe that'll be a part 2.
These were the 2 Germans, and Jacob and I then the rest of the trip.
Yeah.
I was Fritz and he was Sven.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. That's what we did.
The rest of the time we were doing this. Because I was just thrilled with everything that was going on, and he had to go.
There was a store that was something in Kloppenburg.
Yeah, Peak and Kloppenburg. Peak and Kloppenburg. It's the only place I buy shoes.
It was a store called Peak and Kloppenburg, and we were just like, let's go to Peak and Kloppenburg. So great.
Yeah.
So great. You're crazy. Let's do it when it comes to the podcast.
Yeah, okay. We're going to get after it right now. Okay.
Well,
weren't we wondering if Kloppenburg removed Peak?
Yeah.
We leave some names there, but he has no power.
He has no power. It's all Kloppenburg.
It's all Kloppenburg these days. Everybody's Kloppenburg.
Everybody's Kloppenburg. Well, I decided today on the subject. We're gonna dial it back.
We're gonna dial it back?
Well, what I mean is, like last week we were dealing with a heavy subject.
We were, and there's a lot of heavy stuff going on. I mean, do we just quickly touch on the heavy thing happening?
Yeah.
Just a fast touch and then get to the good stuff.
We talked about last week. We talked about the hottest month,
right?
And that being, how we're supposed to go forward, what we can do next after that. So that was it.
So I'll just really fast touch on. We are obviously aware about the fires in Maui in particular. I mean, they're on the islands in general, but Maui's just getting slammed.
Just clobbered.
And just to put our hearts out for that.
Yes, absolutely.
This is, it's something we've talked about a lot on the show that happens here in California and a lot in Australia and places where you have drier weather and a lot of trees.
Yeah.
Particularly as things get hotter, it's easier to go off. And if you don't tend the forest well, then it's even worse.
Yeah.
The problem you have in a place like Hawaii is well, first of all, you're on an island.
Yeah.
So you got nowhere to go. It's like in California, you have places you can run to escape from. It's also large enough that you have places for the fire to burn.
Yeah, that's true.
When it's on an island, it's like it goes. You're just kind of screwed. Yeah. And I think that this is an example where I would actually probably flip my usual opinion on it. Mm-hmm. Because you've got enough moisture in general and enough kind of natural growth that you would typically think that in a place like Hawaii, you're not going to have this kind of problem where you're getting a fire that goes like this and burns the entire island down.
Yeah.
But when you do have warmer temperatures and more drought, in a place like Hawaii, that's, you're not thinking there so much about forest management because it's kind of jungle, right? It's a different,
it's tropical.
It's not as easy to get into. It's not as easy to deal with. It's not the same situation.
Yeah.
So when this kind of thing happens, it really, I think you got to call a spade a spade. You do have to tie this back pretty heavily to climate change.
Yep.
It really is.
Yeah,
I mean, this one in particular is an example of where, we're going to have to really bear down on what we can do to help each other out to get through what's coming.
Yeah. It was
and to up the tech, because this is brutal.
Yeah, agreed. And it happened last week after we recorded the show. We were, talking about the hottest summer. And, our job here and what we do is to educate and inform you and teach you, but it's also to give you those rays of hope. And then when something like that happens, you go, but that's the alarms that we're talking about. That's the the double down. We got to work 10 times as hard to develop and create more ways to help our atmosphere and reduce the carbon that we're putting out there. So
future generations aren't dealing with this crap.
Yeah. Because I've never been to. Yeah, you can. Okay. I've never been to Hawaii, and you have, and so I got to get there before it's all gone. So
Well, I think
it's just Maui.
Once they get it under control, it should grow back hopefully very quickly.
Yeah,
right.
There's a lot of water.
Because there usually is a lot of water there, and that it does grow back quickly. Yeah. But so you'll see hopefully in a few years you'll be able to enjoy Maui the way it was intended.
It was intended.
But yeah, it's going to be difficult, right? Because it wasn't just the trees in the forest, because there's nowhere to go for the fire, and because it just went. I mean, it took out Lahaina is one of the major. I mean, that's one of the major tourist destinations with some of the best stuff. That's where my in-laws. That's where we like to go visit with them. Is actually the very place that's gone now, that's burned to the ground. Is like their favorite place to hang out.
Wow.
So so I mean, there's gonna be a lot of changes there. It's gonna be difficult to bring that back. And then I just hope that island gets the support that it needs from FEMA, and that. And that the investment is put in there to rebuild it, because it's a beautiful place. They're wonderful people, and you hate to see this happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So our hearts go out to Hawaii and the people, and the people have been negatively affected. So we did want to say that that's very important to us.
Yeah, and also just shouting out to the firefighters that have been flown out there from here and Canada and some other spots to go help and do the job, and to the local ones who did their best to fight it, but were unfortunately totally unprepared.
Yeah, of course you're unprepared. It's not a thing that happens, right? Yeah.
So
Yeah, well,
so enough of that bummer run. I feel like we had to mention it because it's related to our show. It's related to our topic.
Oh yeah, and you and I actually we've been very busy, like we mentioned at the top of this show and last show. A lot of stuff going on. Noel and I haven't even had a chance to talk about it really when it was going on. I knew that as somebody who'd been over there, he probably knew a lot about it, and so that was a very organic, natural way that we both knew that we wanted to mention that on the show without even having a discussion beforehand.
Well, people do blame us or accuse us of being tied at the brain.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And one example of that is that we're wearing the exact same color shirt today. And we did not know.
I thought I was being so clever.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, so burnt orange is one of my favorite colors, right?
Yeah.
And I thought I'm going to wear burnt orange shirt, and then I've got my green pants.
Yep.
I call this my pumpkin outfit.
Yes,
Veronica pointed out it is not my pumpkin outfit, it's my reverse pumpkin outfit because the stem's on top, mister.
Yes, exactly.
Although my stem is on bottom.
Yes.
Okay.
Take it from that. No. We can leave that as is.
I was meant to be innocent, but it came out wrong.
It's innocent. It's innocent. So anyway, we walked in this morning, and I did totally steal this color palette from Noel because he wore colors like this, and I was like, that's kind of cool. And then I saw one, and I was like, oh, I kind of want one.
It looks great on you.
Thank you. Yeah. And I don't wear it that often. It's hot right now. It's long sleeve, but I was like, I grabbed it this morning because I was like, I haven't worn this in a little while. Yeah. So I put it on, and we walked in, and we were wearing the same color. So for those,
and Veronica's wearing green.
She's wearing green.
So I thought I was so clever wearing two colors that nobody ever wears in this office, and you both totally nailed it.
We are becoming one mind.
We are becoming one mind in this office.
Yes. Yeah. Well, today's subject is we're getting back in the heat.
Oh my God, we did all this talk and I think we're halfway through the show.
We're halfway through the show.
All right.
That's okay, because I mean, honestly, we're trying to we started out with a fun story about Germany and going crazy. We had a heartfelt moment. Now we can talk about something that's like, this isn't even that big of a deal.
Okay.
We're talking about heat again, but in a totally different way.
Like natural heat?
Grilling.
Oh.
We're talking about grilling. But here's the thing. I want you to know, out of the gate, I was looking for subjects.
Yeah.
And there were all sorts of things that I was coming across. Like there was an article about this group of Dutch students that had invented this car that sucks up CO2, but it was like a prototype. It was very early on, and I was like, I don't know, maybe we'll revisit this when it's more on the market or something that they know more about, right? Right. So then I'm going along, and I see this thing about grills, and I was like, the first thing it says is, by the way, the environmental impact of grilling is minimal. Yes. So what I'm coming at you with today is just some advice, tips, and tricks for grilling and make it to be a little bit more healthy for your environment, your neighborhood, your community. But like, I understand that there's just certain things that people can't change. I'm just going to inform them. Just going to educate a little bit. Say, like, if you didn't know this, it's worth knowing. Yeah. That's it.
Totally.
So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Because I love to grill, and you love to grill.
We both love to grill. And by the way...
We love to grill together.
Yeah, I hope that because it's outdoors, because a lot of the concern about the indoor grills, like the indoor stoves and all that, and how they're gas powered. Yeah. It is... I mean, while there is talk about it being an environmental issue, really the biggest issue that is coming up with it is just the poisoning of the air. Right. That it's just not good for the air. Right. And so it's just better for people to not have them for health reasons. Yeah. Right. So what's nice about an outdoor grill is you can have particularly if it's a gas powered one, it's just not that much. It just really isn't that bad. No. And because you're outdoors, there's plenty of ventilation. You don't have the same problems of pollution indoors, obviously. So it's, do it. Get after it. Right? But then here's how you get after it the greenest way, I guess.
The greenest way possible. Okay. So because I was like, it's summertime. We've done a couple get-togethers. We've done a couple grills. We've cooked our food. Hey, quiet down in there. Just kidding, Veronica. Sorry. I could hear drawers.
We asked her to leave the door open.
So she can listen.
This is the funniest thing. This is the most us thing
ever. Clang.
We asked her to leave the door open so that she can hear the show and pipe in. And then once we hear noises, we razz her.
I'm kidding.
To be fair, though, this is your relationship now with Veronica.
I know.
This is what it's become.
I know. I don't know why this has happened.
It used to be that Veronica and Jacob were so kind to each other and so friendly back and forth. And it lasted a while. It changed to we're going to razz each other nonstop. And Jacob is meaner to Veronica, not really, but like really. in the way they razz, than I've heard him to anybody.
Yeah. Well, it's because we are, like I said, the clothes are matching. We're becoming one mind. So I had to inherit the stinker. She's
a massive stinkler.
And you are too.
I am no such thing. I'm a gentleman.
And so,
now Veronica's pointing at me like I'm a stinker.
He's the master of tinklers. So I'm absorbing this new trait. I had to get rid of it somehow because we're all becoming one mind. And I was like, who can I dish it out on? And for some reason, it's really fun to do it to Veronica, and she does it back, and it's like a lot of fun.
But you're brutal to her in a way that you are not to anybody. You're like, you say things to you don't.
I think it's because I know she knows. I know she knows that I love her dearly.
Yeah,
right?
well, obviously.
Now I know.
Every single...
Now I know. First time I'm hearing it.
Now that it's public. Yes, we called you. This is our bad. This is our bad.
You're bad.
It is actually, it's a proven fact that anyone who's ever met Veronica fell in love with them.
That's true.
With her immediately.
Absolutely. Yeah. We witness this all the time. I don't know how many people who listen to this show are like part of the service industries that cater to Veronica, but all of them are in love with Veronica. All of them.
It is both
everywhere we go.
There's both a joy and a pain.
You order a sandwich
to go anywhere.
You get your oil changed. You grab a coffee. You go somewhere where they know Veronica, and it's within minutes that this person is like, "So, do you want to hang out sometime?
What are you doing later? You seem really cool.
It's just ridiculous.
You're just ridiculous. You're so pretty and friendly.
She got game.
She owns them, and like I said, it's a double-edged sword. Yeah. Because we walk into these places and then they start handing us free stuff. Yeah. Not when we're alone, mind you, but when we come with Veronica. Yeah. We get the free stuff, we get the discounts, we get all this and that. Like, you guys are cool. Yeah. But you also get just like this. Like we're waiting there at the table to eat, and it's like the 6-hour delay from the guy flirting with Veronica, and it's just like, come on.
I'm so sorry. The audience right now is like, I tuned in for grilling. Right now, somebody driving in their car is like, I thought this episode was about green grilling.
And all it's been is T-shirts, Germany,
Veronica. It's been ridiculous. All right, we're going to get to it. Okay.
Thank you.
So it says in this article, green grilling for a better cookout. So while the environmental impact of grilling is negligible compared with most of the other things we do in our day, it's important to take every aspect of our lives into consideration when it comes to combating air pollution and carbon footprint. Why not?
Why wouldn't we?
Why wouldn't we? So, first and foremost, when we were kids, growing up and our parents were grilling.
200 years ago?
200 years ago. This was a long time ago. The options for what you could get for your grill were probably not that. They've gotten advanced now, right? Yeah, you can buy the coolest grills and not even for that much money. But back in the day, it was like charcoal. Right, it was like a charcoal grill. It's like what those briquettes, just pouring them in and just get a charcoal.
Get your Weber.
Yeah, get your Weber.
You throw them charcoal in the bottom there of their Weber, and you let it sugar up.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep,
and
flavor.
Really
good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really
I love a good charcoal grill flavor. I do. But here's the great news.
What is it?
They've figured out how to make charcoals that aren't bad, and there's a lot better choices that you can get than the old school self-lighting briquettes and all that stuff from back in the day.
Higher quality. It's going to make your food taste better because it's not going to have all the fumes and the things that come off of those. So here we go. So step 1, avoid petroleum-based lighter fluids and self-lighting charcoal if you can. Yeah. So if it's self-lighting, it's easier. It's easier. But obviously, the chemical on it is burning off onto your food.
Yes.
I mean, that's something if you didn't
know
that, you should know that.
Yeah.
Anytime you burn anything, you're getting the result of that.
Yeah.
And if that's going directly up onto your hamburger, then
you're going to get it on your hamburger.
Right?
Yeah. So it says these release petrochemicals into the atmosphere. Instead, use a charcoal chimney or an electrical charcoal starter or natural lighter fluids to get your fire going. So you just look into more natural ways to get it going.
Yeah, we had one of those, and we have a gas one now. So
I do too.
Yeah, so we don't use it, but we had this cool metal device. It looked like almost like a tea kettle sort of, right, with a handle, and then at the bottom of it you put newspaper.
Yeah.
And on the top of it, you drop the charcoal briquettes.
Yeah.
Then you light up the newspaper, and then it lights up. The fire goes, and then the fire burns the bottom of the charcoal, and then the bottom of the charcoal burns the top of the charcoal, and it takes about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Your charcoal gets hot, and then you just dump it right in there, and boom, you can use any charcoal you want.
Yeah.
And it works incredibly well.
Yeah. So when it comes to charcoal, I think that you need to be a little patient. That's with the igniting. You know, we've got to a place, and we've learned this with so much of helping the environment is one thing we do in the United States and around the world is we got a little impatient. We're like, I need this charcoal to go today. I need it to be pre-doused with all sorts of stuff that when I throw a match on it, it just goes like that. Like, I need this to happen immediately. The friends are coming over. I got a barbecue. Yeah. But if you are willing to put in a little bit of that extra warm-up time to get things going and find the more natural ones, it's going to be better for your food, and it's going to be better for the air as well. So now this is where I want you to get super arrogant when you go shopping for a charcoal. It says...
Nose in the air.
It says choose a superior charcoal. So when you walk in and you buy charcoal, I want you to walk in with an ascot, gentleman, maybe a wig even, and come in and just go...
Like a judge's wig?
Yes.
Yeah?
And just come in and go,
okay.
I'm looking for your superior charcoal. Superior charcoal. Yeah, that's what I want.
So he's got a pipe.
Yes.
He's got an ascot.
I'm going to be barbecuing.
He's got a tweed jacket.
Yes, and I'd like to have your superior charcoal.
The finest golf shorts.
Yes. This is a gentleman.
And a judge's wig.
That's the look.
Monocle or no?
That's very 4th of July, but as if you were wanting the other side to win.
Yes, this is if you're rooting for England.
If you're rooting for England on the 4th of July, I'm like, I'm here to celebrate American independence.
This is to celebrate the reunion of the empire. Fantastic. So glad we all decided to get along.
What if
I've gone and murdered half your country. Now I'd love for us all to be together and be friends again. Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Wouldn't that be a good costume to a 4th of July party to show up like you're not
the
trying
most distorted
clearly British
thing.
Didn't want the Americans to win. I love it.
The thing to me, the judge's wig is the thing that tops it off. Just
icing on the cake right there.
And golf shoes.
Yes. So it says natural charcoals. This is what we're talking about. And lump charcoal made from furniture scraps and waste wood with additives and without additives and binders make a cleaner fire that not only reduces your pollution output, but improves your grilling experience. I did a quick internet search of natural charcoals and lump charcoals, and there are so many. I mean, we're talking these places are at Home Depot, they're at Walmart, they're at Target, they're everywhere. We do live in a time where the stuff that was available back then, these companies are looking at that and going, what kind of charcoal briquettes can we make that are already from waste, already reused, or coconut shells I saw in there. You know, it's like all sorts of briquettes you can buy that are...
What's remarkable now, and I blame this podcast.
I blame us.
100.
I will take responsibility without even knowing what you're about to say.
Yeah. Well, 200 years of doing a show, we'll get that. We'll make that happen.
We're responsible for a lot of things.
I blame our podcast.
Okay.
There are now, today, particularly... I remember when this show started, and it was a long time ago. We say 200 years. Maybe we could be off by a couple.
We're rounding.
Yes.
Right.
We rounded up.
Rounded up.
Very high.
I don't know how numbers work.
Here's it. We rounded up the 5 to the 10.
Right.
The 10 we rounded up to the 15.
Right.
The 15 we rounded up to the 20, and on and on and on until
so
we got
forth.
to 200.
We compounded it. Yeah.
But even if it was only 5 years ago, which it wasn't, it was 200.
Yes.
Even if it was only 500 years ago. 500 years ago? 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
There was a lot less in terms of options back then.
Totally.
Things were very different.
And it's changing.
I do think that we are in a world now where people do actually care. This is the thing you've got to remember when you're freaking out about the environment is how many people are aware of what's happening and care.
Yeah.
And if you actually look for the options that we talk about on this show all the time, the things we're suggesting, the ways you want to go about it, it used to be so much harder when we started this show to get people what they needed. There's a lot you had to do yourself. Now, you just Google it. You just go to Amazon, just look it up, and you will be amazed at how many
it's amazing.
Eco-friendly, bio-friendly, organic, wonderful options there are for your health and for the health of the planet. They're just out there. It's a whole new world, my friend.
It absolutely is, and we are to blame. So
it's our fault.
It's our fault.
That's why we're in the Smithsonian.
So just remember while you're shopping for your briquettes, if that's what you use for your cookout, then just look for the one that's not going to put chemicals in your food.
Yeah.
And look for something that says it's natural. It's lump charcoal is usually the kind that they're talking about.
Yeah, and even though the difference to the environment may be minimal, it is really, do it anyway. It's good for your health.
Yeah,
it just is.
Yeah, and there was this breakdown of like what the process is that I highlighted because I was like, this is how they do it. Hold on, vamp, Johnny, vamp.
All right,
I got it.
6 what?
Okay, so just so it says, think about this. This is how you can understand what lump or natural charcoal is. This is a good breakdown. It says, think about this.
I'm thinking.
A branch falls from a tree in your yard.
Okay, that happens.
You leave it to decay.
Sure.
According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the carbon released by this decay is the same as if you burn the wood from the branch.
Yep.
Same.
Yep.
Granted, burning puts the carbon quickly into the atmosphere, but the end result is the same. Now imagine that you ground that wood into sawdust, combined it with binders to make it stick together, and then fired it into charcoal. This process adds pollutants to the charcoal and increases the carbon output. If you were to then add lighter fluid, you would then dramatically increase the pollution created.
Yeah.
By choosing a natural additive-free charcoal or natural lump charcoal, you eliminate these additives and therefore make a cleaner fire. And that's what they were just saying. They were saying that's why you choose it. You're choosing the more natural version.
I think what's pretty nicely described there, but they don't necessarily just hit it on the head. So let's do it for them.
Yeah, let's do it.
Is in nature, carbon is released all the time, and it happens naturally. It's part of living on the planet. It's part of the way the planet works. It's going to happen anyway, okay? If you're using a natural option that doesn't have everything added to it to make it worse than it naturally would be, then you're really not changing the carbon output.
Nope.
At all. Maybe slightly.
Little bit,
but basically not. So you can enjoy your charcoal grilling without feeling bad about it for the planet because it was going to decompose and release carbon anyway.
Exactly. There you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I wanted to share that one.
Was that an on the head? I was trying to be right?
Yeah, on the head. Okay. On the head. So next up, if you can and you're willing, switch to gas. Switch to gas grills. So it says gas grills are much more energy efficient than charcoal grills and produce far fewer pollutants. So I understand that not everybody has the ability to go out and buy a gas grill, but if you're looking and you're shopping,
and not everybody loves the flavor. We get that.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
But so it says, try it, and it says switch to natural gas. Many grills have a natural gas option. Natural gas is the cleanest fossil fuel and burns much cleaner than propane grills. Now I have a propane grill.
I have a propane grill.
That's what I run. Again, I'm sharing this with you because it says in the beginning, it goes, look, we're talking about hairs, like fraction of a difference here. This just isn't enough to really change the game. So I'm not telling you right now, you burn propane grill, you're in trouble. No, I'm not saying that at all. If you have the option, if you're shopping, you can look into one and be like, hey, is this natural gas grill better? Is this something that I want to invest in? They really go into more detail about what you shouldn't be doing is buying a new grill every 3 to 4 years. You need to find one that's going to last you for a long time.
This is the thing.
That's the number one thing.
We talk about this on the show more than anything.
Right.
I think. The stuff you have,
keep it.
Use it.
Yes.
Use it until you cannot use it.
Yes.
Try to really get as many miles out of everything you have as you possibly can. That is the greenest way to go.
Absolutely.
We've become such we've built our economy on consumerism instead of on production. Right?
Absolutely.
And that's not that's really not a sustainable way to even have a country, to have a planet. It just isn't. It can't be about that. You're better off to do it the way it was done before, which is you make something that lasts as long as possible and you pay a lot for it. Mm-hmm. And then the person who made it gets paid a lot for it too because they made it, but they made a good thing, and then you don't keep getting new ones.
Yes.
We've really changed everything into the use, dispose, replace.
And that is
culture.
Not what we want.
No. That is more than anything what is killing the planet.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to stress, this isn't, the message of this isn't go out, throw out the grill you've been using and go buy something new. If you were without a grill and you were looking to buy something new and these are some of the tips and tricks that I can give you. But again, it says, don't have to keep up with the Joneses. Don't be like, oh no, the neighbor over there has the Grill Master 5000. Now I got to go out and get the better, slicker, more amazing grill. Right. And you're always chasing the latest and greatest thing. Nah, man, cook your food on the thing that's got it's been seasoned.
Yeah.
Make that thing where your kids go, my mom, my dad, they grilled on the same grill for my entire childhood.
Yes.
That's what you need.
If you have a 5-year-old propane grill that you're still rocking, do not take this show to mean, oh no, I have propane. I have to figure out a gas hookup on my house to get a new gas. No.
Nope.
No.
Use it.
Use your grill until you cannot use it any longer.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's again. So this is why what we like to bring to the conversation, because I think that there's a lot of links and things that people find when they start looking at environmentalism that makes you feel like you got to get rid of the thing you own and buy the green thing, and that's never the message. Mm-hmm. Use the thing that you have. Use it to the ground. Mm-hmm. Reduce your preheat times if you can. So sometimes people tend to overdo how long they've preheated their stove. It lets you know. It says most gas grills are ready to cook in 5 to 10 minutes. So once you got that fire going, 5-10 minutes, that's all you need to get that thing nice and hot. You don't need to turn on the gas grill, let it run for half an hour inside while you're basting and preparing food. It's not going to take that long to get it hot. Mm-hmm. So that's a small way that you can help. It says charcoal takes 15 to 20 minutes to be ready for cooking. So just plan your cooking time, and that's just a simple tip. Just don't let it run for too long before you're cooking. That's fair, right?
In general, efficiency helps everything.
So then next, now I kind of disagree with this one just because I kind of like the seasoning of mine. It just says clean your grill while it's still hot after you cook instead of increasing your preheating times. Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with that instruction. I like to keep my grill a little bit on the it's got the seasoning of what you cooked. I'll clean the grates, but I don't like to.
But down below.
Yeah, I don't want to clean all that out.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
So they're not telling me to do that, right?
No, I think that what they're saying is when you do your cleaning, if you clean it afterward instead of before, that it it'll be a hot grill. It'll clean off a little quicker.
Oh, there you go.
Your timing, you'll be just a little easier for
right after you're done cooking. It's hot and you scrub it off.
Because the general habit for people is, oh God, my grill's dirty. I better clean it now, but it's not hot yet. So now you've heated it up for 5 minutes, and then you're spending a few minutes cleaning off your grill.
Yeah.
So they're saying, do that at the end, and then the next time you turn on your grill, it's already clean.
Yeah.
And so then it's just less time having the fire.
All right.
on.
So that is good advice. Yeah. That is good advice.
No, Jacob, they cannot take your seasoning.
They cannot.
And if they take your seasoning, they're.
Don't.
Oh, I said. Oh, I'm sorry. Put that on the.
Okay. I got to remember these numbers in my brain.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I'm such a swear monkey.
Swear monkey. You are my swear monkey. All right. This is a personal preference if you want. It says trim excess fat from meat. Not only will this make your grilling healthier, reduce flare-ups, but also reduce the release of harmful chemicals from the air. I don't know.
I'm not gonna do that.
I know.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry, planet.
No, it's fine.
I'm not gonna do that. I like fat. I'm one of those gross people who
like the fat too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And by the way, if you are not a meat eater, if you are a vegan or vegetarian or whatever, grills are still awesome for veggie foods that you cook on the grill, because this man to my right taught me to cook asparagus on a grill, and it's one of my favorite things to make during the summer is to cook some asparagus on the grill. It's delicious.
Yeah, it's really good.
And you can have all sorts of, shish kebabs and things on the grill with the veggies, and they're amazing. So if like meat's not your thing, or you're trying to reduce your carbon footprint there, then you can use a grill to cook some veggies and some healthy food, and it comes out pretty freaking delicious.
Yeah. One day. Well, not today.
Not today.
Not on this topic.
Soon.
But we'll do Noel's cooking tips.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. So we already talked about it because I remembered it said the greenest grill. It said not to replace it. We hit that one, which was the right way.
Yeah.
So
that is.
Yeah. Really, it just says at the end of it all.
Yeah.
It says grilling is green. Because listen to this. You want a good burger? You grab the family, you jump in the car, drive to your favorite burger joint, spend too much money, and ain't that the truth right now? Mm-hmm. And then you drive home. How much energy and time did you spend?
Lots.
Since grilling doesn't lend itself to prepackaged foods and gives you an easy way to produce good meals from scratch.
Yes.
Buy fresh meats and vegetables and grill them up without having to unpack all that stuff they sell in the middle of the store. Yeah. Additionally, grilling lets you turn off the stove and often reducing your electrical usage. Yep. Since about 7% of the electricity used in the U.S. is renewable, you can cut down on your electric bill and reduce pollution from power plants. Yep. So fire up the grill and put the guilt aside. So that's what I wanted to say.
Also, if you think about going out to a restaurant, you're going to spend the premium of what it takes for them to keep their lights on, to keep their wait staff, their cooking staff, their cleaning staff, and everyone else working, right?
Yeah.
So you're paying a little bit extra for the food.
Yeah.
But you're still getting cheap meat.
Yeah.
And we talked about that before.
We have.
Cheap meat is the thing that is causing the environmental problems. That's the thing.
It is.
So if you are going to barbecue and you're planning, well, if you were going to spend the money on going out anyway, get the expensive meat.
Yeah, get the stuff
that's good stuff.
The good stuff that's been sourced correctly.
Yeah, get the good stuff. Get the good stuff. Bring that in and cook yourself up something amazing.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the thing that's so funny about it is we live in the time of YouTube.
Yeah.
If you don't have a lot of experience preparing a really great steak, right? Or preparing perfect chicken or some salmon, or whatever it is you're going to be cooking.
Whatever you're going to cook.
Go ahead and ask the internet. You will be amazed. Mm-hmm. Amazed at how many interesting tips they have, interesting different ways that you can cook the same thing to make a different meal.
Yeah.
It's worth it, and you get a little bit, and you practice, right? And maybe the first time you don't do it right, but that's the same as anything.
Yeah.
Over time, you'll start to build yourself some habits that you like, and people will call you grill master.
Yeah, and it's a fun thing. I mean, for me, I know that sitting outside and watching my dad on the grill, and during the summer months, it's synonymous with kind of my childhood and being outdoors and enjoying nature and all that. So I just think it's a fun thing to do. So again, this was just kind of a guide to say, hey, it's not anything that you need to be going out and thinking to yourself, oh, I'm contributing negatively.
Yeah.
You're not at all. And if anything, in a lot of ways, it can be really positive. And so I hope if anything today, if you're going out and if you are buying briquettes, you're looking at the ones that are going to burn nice and clean and not going to pollute your food or the air at all.
Yeah.
And then if you're going to use the gas or you're going to use the propane, that you just be be conscious about how often you're running it, and are you overrunning it? How much are you going through? All those things. There's little things like that. But overall, grill away, grill master.
Yeah. And again, these are tips. These are just ideas. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everything on this show, we're never going to force you. We're not going to go to your house with a gun and tell you to do anything. Yeah. Right? Yeah, That's not what we're about.
Yeah.
We give ideas. If you like the ideas, use them. If you're like, I'm not changing anything. That's okay. Yeah. That's okay. You're still our friend. We still love you. We still want to come back and talk next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that was it. I mean, I came in knowing that I wanted to have a nice, fun, easy, cool chat because last week was a
bummer run.
It's a bummer run, and then we've got stuff in the news is a little bit of a bummer run. So we opened it up with a fun story of our Germany trip from all those years ago, and then
had some pretty hilarious Veronica moments.
Yeah, we had some hilarious Veronica moments, and then it's summertime. Tis the season to have the grill. It's warm outside, so just wanted to talk a little bit about that.
It was a great topic.
I thought so.
Honestly, Jakey, I feel like simple topics like this are that's our wheelhouse, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
Sometimes science the heavy science is important to get into and drill into, and I think we do that well.
Yeah, science without the stiffness.
Yeah, science without the stiffness. Yeah. But every now and then you have a person listening, and they're like, I don't know, is grilling a bad thing? And we're here to say,
no, it's not. Do it.
No, grill away.
Do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Someone is using those emissions to cook something anyway. You have to eat.
Yeah.
And you can't really eat raw. Well, some foods you can eat raw.
Yeah,
but
you can eat a lot of raw foods.
There's a lot of foods you can't eat raw, right? So it's going to happen anyway. It's actually kind of not a bad way to do it.
Yeah. So that's it. That is the Biofriendly Podcast this week.
Wow.
So
what a great podcast.
Yeah. Now we've got to figure out a way to get through these tags without Veronica to guide us, or maybe she'll pop her head out.
I think she may she'll probably, if she pops her head in, just laugh at us while we go, because that's classic Veronica style right now. Veronica. Because she is, as we announced today, a stinkler.
Yeah. Yep. We're all stinklers now.
But I think we do it before we jump into it. Do we say thank you for joining?
We do.
Make sure that you come back next week.
Please.
And tell your friends.
Tell
people who you know that we're doing this. We're having a laugh. We're having a good time. You can find out about the environment without having yourself get preached to about how terrible you are.
Yeah.
In fact, you'll probably just enjoy it.
I feel like week to week we say tell your friends, tell your family, but I think every week we should pick out a specific person in their life that they should tell. So we're going to do it right now. We're going to pick
I want you to tell your Aunt Margaret.
Mm-hmm. Your Aunt Margaret.
About the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So everybody tell Aunt Margaret.
And even if you don't have an Aunt Margaret, you know somebody who has an Aunt Margaret.
Tell their Aunt Margaret. Everybody's got to find it. And remember that Margaret is, if their name is Peggy, that's short for Margaret. So if you have an Aunt Peggy, that counts.
Yes. And also there's an actress named Anne Margaret.
Anne Margaret. You can tell her about it.
Tell her.
You can tell Anne Margaret, yeah.
Is she still alive?
I'm sure. I think. Oh God, is she?
I don't know.
She might not know.
I know. I don't know. I don't know.
If she's not, then may she rest in peace. If she is, then may she learn about the podcast and join us next week.
Is Anne Margaret still alive?
Oh my God, we're asking Siri. Are you? You're on airplane mode.
You're right. She's date of birth.
Yeah. I'm vamping.
No, she's alive.
Oh, God, thank God. All right, could someone
alive.
please tell Anne Margaret that the show's happening next week, and we'd like her to join us? That would be great. And anybody else, if your middle name's Margaret and you're someone's aunt, that's great. If you are Margaret and you're not an aunt, but you feel like you could have been an aunt, or you would like to be an aunt, you should be told about the show.
Yes. That's all very helpful.
I think even let's not tell someone who's a niece though.
No.
If your niece is named Margaret, then let's give them a break. They've had enough.
If anything, withhold information from your niece. So if your niece goes, "Hey, Uncle, do you know of any great environmental podcasts that have humor and I could share with my friends?" Just go like this.
I don't.
I do not.
I have no idea. I've never heard of anything like it, and I don't listen to one weekly. I don't.
I have to go now. And then you run away.
And then sprint.
And then next week
sprint away from poor Margaret, little Peggy.
Little Peggy. It adds mystery.
Yeah.
And then the young niece will want to find the show.
Here's the thing. Mystery is sexy.
It is.
And if there's one thing this show exudes, it is sexy.
Oh, yeah.
That is the only thing you get from the show.
Oh, yeah.
Just Jacob and my sexual chemistry is off the charts.
Off the charts.
Insane.
Yes. So with that being said, and that awesome note to go out on this show, we are your beacon of light in a gloomy environment.
Bringing you top quality content since 1823.
Science without stiffness.
Green without the groaning.
Inspiring fear and love.
This show is about patience.
Careful. You'll catch feelings. I'm there?
Yes.
Okay.
Kerosene Guy and Corndog Rogers have had an epic battle in my head. Or an endless battle in my head. I can't remember which.
Look, that is a lifelong battle in your head was the only thing.
Lifelong battle in my head.
Yeah, but if you want to change it to epic, you can because you just got through the whole thing. You said both names of Kerosene Guy and Corndog Rogers. So
which is weird because they've been battling in my head and I can't remember their names.
I know. Well, because it's
been endless.
It's a constant struggle.
It's been just an endless epic disaster up there. But and then maybe that's because all the damage they're doing in my mind, I can't remember their names.
Probably. But I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. You did it after 14 weeks.
Maybe more.
It hasn't been that long. Okay. My next one is, I know this one, we'll turn your enemies into friends.
And then mine is, we're down with the hooey.
Yeah!
Oh my God, we did it!
We did it.
Oh my God, we did it!
We did it, dude.
Oh, we do need you. We do need you because next week I'll forget.
Yeah, we'll forget next week, but I do.
Oh my God, we did it!
I think it's funny because like she was looking over at us like a proud teacher watching, and she was like, "They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it." So with that, Veronica says from a very far distance.
Happy nuggets and stop and smell the flowers.
There it is.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. See you next time. Bye.
Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.